I'll be the one that does it.
Good morning. Welcome to Screen Junkies Universe, and happy Friday. We're talking about my impending death. I'm Roth Cornet. This is Billy Business.
We're on
joining
Stroke
us today.
Watch 2018. Is Roth going to stroke out during this show?
Again. Starr is here. Spencer Gilbert. And I employ all my friends who have told me that should I decide to die, they're more than happy to assist. That, if I ever go vegetative, shoot me in the brain. So.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday! We have so many good things to talk about.
I like that all this
today.
came out of I smell peanut butter cookies. Like a very pleasant thing.
Yeah, and we got here.
We're going to get to our show, I really promise you. But my original quote was, hey, does anybody smell peanut butter
Roth,
cookies?
we don't need to.
Or is that just the spirit of JTE wafting into the room? Do we just smell peanut butter cookies because of his infinite sweetness and wisdom? And they told me, no, you're dying. So the good news is that The Incredibles 2 trailer was released, and it looks so fun. Spencer, you love this.
Yeah.
You did.
As a noted human being, I love this trailer. Yeah. How could you not? I mean, it's got family, it's got superpowers, it's got super suits, it's got incredible things. It's The Incredibles 2. This is the kind of hard-hitting analysis you can expect on Screen Junkies News. It's a good trailer. I like it. I want to see the movie.
Joe, tell me about this villain, because I think we had a couple of different interpretations of both his name and function.
So I had to double check real quick. It's Screen Slaver, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was Screen Slayer.
Also,
And
no,
he also
because
likes
because
to
we're
rock.
enslaved to our screens, man.
Yeah.
because I think Screen Slayer would want to take the device out of your hand and be like, look around, enjoy your life. But this is Screen Slaver, who I think wants everyone to stare at their phones more, and it's gonna hypnotize them based on their phone. And
Could there be a hidden message for us as a society in that?
Pixar usually doesn't do that.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at your
I don't
laptop. Yeah.
I hope his
Pixar,
power
a
is to
message?
just bring back the flying toaster screensaver, because that would
That's what he
hypnotize me
wants to
into death.
do.
Remember that thing? No?
Flying toaster?
Yeah.
I'm with you, buddy.
No.
That
Little
old
wings.
I was poor growing up, so if it wasn't DOS,
This was not a fancy thing. This wasn't like only the elite have the flying toaster screensaver. Like,
we didn't have a real toaster, man. I don't want your elitism, all
We
right?
only use Windows 3.1 in this, Pappy.
You put your bread out in the sun and you waited a couple days.
that's how you got toast.
Yep.
All right. Well,
No, I've never heard of the flying toaster screensaver. I don't know what it is.
classic screensaver.
But I remember one that was like kind of like Doom, but it wasn't Doom, where you were just going through like hallways with
Yep.
brick walls.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I don't-
flight simulator hidden inside of Microsoft Excel? It exists. Look it
Wait,
up.
what?
Yep.
What?
Wait,
Two
what is
different
that?
things, but both real things.
Yeah.
Wait, does it still exist?
Not sure.
Investigate.
One way to find out.
Internet. You know
Second
what?
question, does Google Docs have a hidden flight simulator?
I don't know.
They should.
That's really interesting. I like that we have talked about the hidden messages of not being entranced by your screen by encouraging people to go investigate more that is happening.
Well, this is what
in your
Screenslaver
screen.
wants, I
Yeah.
think, is for us to
Well,
just
we're
go down
already
these
his
rabbit
willing
holes.
victims.
That's why we need The Incredibles in this movie.
All right.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I really like the direction of the story. I think this is an interesting choice, kind of for like the times that we're in, especially like it feels like a time of like female empowerment and everything. And I feel like with Mr. Incredible kind of feeling like he's on the sidelines, it almost feels like a very timely kind of story. That's kind of what I got from it, especially because it's like, look, I don't know what the plot of the movie is. I'm going based off the trailer, but it looks like he kind of has to cope with like he's not the main guy. They're not calling him, they're calling her, and he has to be kind of the stay-at-home dad. I think that's a really interesting kind of take on it.
Yeah, and I think
Mr.
that
Momish, if you will.
Mr.
Yeah.
Momish. I think there's a tagline for the movie of like taking care of their family is a superpower, or it's something along those lines. And of course, like Pixar's got like a core message that the whole movie's built around, and I think it's going to be that, you know, it takes a superhero just to like raise kids by yourself, and that will be like the emotional arc of the film for Mr. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too, man. God, it's hard. I don't have kids.
What secret kids are you
Yeah, you
raising?
have a secret family in Minnesota you visit once a week and say you're going on a junket.
Yeah. And by kids, she means the spy she's
Snitches
training.
get stitches,
Snitches.
Spencer.
And it's a
I've been a nanny. It's It's hard.
Nanny McRoth.
Wouldn't you trust me with your children?
Yes.
Joe?
There's been a lot of criticism of people sort of being like, this is a well-worn trope, or like, ooh, a dad has to take care, and yeah, it's been ground that has been trod in sitcoms and other films, but I trust Pixar to really hit a home run with even the most basic and old and worn out of premises. I think they can do it, and B, I also 100% don't expect for this to be just a Mr. Mom retread. They are giving us a basic setup in their trailers, and yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more than what criticisms are sort of being leveled at it.
I love the idea of that parallel, though, between heroism and everyday heroism, because this shows you how much I was not paying attention to the arc of the season. Quick, This Is Us sidebar. But in the episode of This Is Us where we find out what happened to Jack, he's just in the kitchen wiping down the kitchen after like Super Bowl Sunday. And I said aloud, this guy is a hero. Because he's just up, like he let his wife go to bed, he put the kids to bed, he gave them an up talk, and he's wiping down the kitchen. And then, of course, a minute later, he's an actual hero in terms of like there's a blazing fire and all of these things. But I do like that parallel as a theme.
Yeah, I think, like you were saying with the Mr. Mom, kind of like Pixar takes those tropes that we know and finds kind of ways to do it their own way. I think it's Mr. Mom, but what if the kids he was watching, spontaneously combusted and had teleported? Like, that's just a new kind of fun angle on something. Mm-hmm. I think, Infinity War aside, I think this is going to be one of the better superhero movies we get for probably the rest of the year.
The first one was when it came out. That was everyone still plants this is the best Fantastic Four movie flag, and they still ain't wrong. So
it's possible.
And the animation just looks so damn smooth. I mean, I know that like it's always been like at the peak level of wherever animation's at these days, but just like the fluidity of everyone, they've really gotten over their creepy human problem from the early days.
Yeah, absolutely.
There were a lot of creepy humans for a while, though.
Oh yeah,
Spencer.
Andy in Toy Story 1 and Sid, obviously, but like they all look, they're all off.
Terrifying, but they look great.
Really,
I'm very excited to see it. Well, a live-action version of a once beloved and still beloved animated film, Mulan. There's a little bit of traction on that. Niki Caro is directing this film, and that's very exciting already. It's going to begin shooting in August in China and New Zealand. Beautiful locations. It's pushed back to March 27, 2020, but it has some casting news today, starting with, you guys, Jet Li is in final talks to play, guess who?
Well,
it's on
I
your
haven't
page.
read any,
The Emperor of China is my first guess.
Yeah, that's
Locking
a great
in.
guess. But first of all, how exciting is that? Just alone, we're going to get to the rest of the casting.
That's awesome. Wasn't there some movie where he like fights the emperor, then he dies with all the arrows? Hero. Yeah.
Hero by one of my favorite directors, Jean Jimu.
That was a super cool movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's beautiful. God, the colors and the use of that. Also, okay. I could just talk about Hero and his other films for a while, but I won't.
Yeah, I erroneously thought Jet Li had retired. I guess he just retired from martial arts.
Just from wushu movies, yeah.
But what if he comes back and does martial arts as the Emperor and he sings? This could be the greatest movie ever made. We don't know.
Do we know if it's because based on the cast so far, I'm really excited about whether or not this is a musical.
She's gone. Okay, so we had Niki Caro in here to talk to her for The Zookeeper's Wife, which is a film she directed that came out last year. And she was so back and forth on it, and it just felt to me like Disney hadn't decided what they wanted to do entirely.
Okay.
And it may be ultimately what we saw in oh my God, help me. Jungle Book.
Where they dip their toe in the water, but
but they don't go all the way in. Yeah.
As long as the other new casting news helps sing "I'll Make a Man Out of You," like that's.
I feel like you can't do that movie without that song. That song is. And the Reflection one. How do you just? I don't know. I feel like those are such staples of Mulan that it would feel like something was missing.
They could just do it in a montage or like have it playing in the background.
Or somebody can just be singing to themselves like we do as human beings. There's ways to subtly like bring it in and weave it in, but not have it be a full out live action musical. Although why not to some degree? It's not like musicals aren't working.
Yeah, full war epic period piece musical.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm in for that.
Super in.
Mulan is going to be played by Liu Yifei. Meanwhile, Gong Li is confirmed to play the villain.
The villain of
I
Mulan.
read Mulan and villain at the same. By the way, stroke confirmed. The villain.
It's happening.
Get your guns ready. Bullet in the brain. I'm asking for
There's
very
still time
little.
to save you, even if it's happening. We have a window.
No, end it. I've had a good run. This week has been great. You guys have been wonderful contributing to our event. I'm all right.
Can we
I've
just start bringing
traveled a
peanut
bit.
butter cookies every day and
Yeah,
hiding
just
them?
lofted him under the desk.
Ah.
You know what?
Gaslighting.
I've been very fortunate in my life. I've had a lot of different experiences. Bullet in the brain. Okay. In other Disney news, Zana Tang is going to play Mulan's sister. And I'm excited as crap to see this movie. I really, really am. And normally I'm a little bit hesitant on the live action adaptations of Disney movies.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, for whatever reason, it just didn't work for me, which is strange because it's not that different than the cartoon. But like,
Well, that's why it
know.
didn't work for me. Is because it's
Sure,
not
yeah.
different from the cartoon.
Yeah, because the thing I liked about Jungle Book is the cartoon of Jungle Book is like watching paint dry. It's really boring, and they made that one interesting. I don't know. Mulan is my wife's favorite movie of all time, so it would be interesting, like, to see, because that'll be a day one for her. I think it was you who said it yesterday. Maybe it was Danielle Radford. That like it'd be interesting if they did this whole thing with like English subtitles and just like really went for it. They wouldn't. But,
They wouldn't,
yeah.
but yeah, I'd
God, I
be
would
totally
love that,
down.
Joe. Good call.
And then did we mention Yen? Yeah, or was the stroke concern happen first?
Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Donnie Yen's playing her mentor, Commander Tung. I think we're already leaning more towards a Jungle Book. It seems like we're already filling out characters a little more. Of course, there's my pessimist brain is like, it won't be the first time that Disney has completely wasted Donnie Yen in a recent blockbuster, but I think this is going to be a really, really cool movie. If it's somewhere, in between the full musical version of the animated film and the epic live action sort of epic war take that was released maybe like 10 years ago, there was just a Chinese language Mulan sort of awesome war movie, which is also really cool. You should check out. If it's somewhere in between there, whatever. I'm cool. I think this is going to be really fun.
All right, so we're 2 thumbs up today. Wow.
Yeah.
We're very
movies.
positive.
Yeah.
Call us Positive Friday. You know what might have us in a really good mood? You guys. You know what? We owe our entire lives to you, and that's that's true. 100%. If you guys aren't watching our
The
stuff,
sum of
we
my
don't have-
31 years on this planet, I
well,
owe to you.
and the
Thank
sum
you.
of
Thank
my
you.
19 years on this planet is owed entirely to you. We get to do our jobs. We get to do fun jobs. We get to talk about movies and strokes and peanut butter all day long, thanks to you, and make silly videos for the internet. But
the
more
dream.
than that, you're already our heroes. But then, man, we put a call out to support our endeavor in partnership with Women in Film, and you more than fulfilled the promise of the amazing community that you really are. So thank you so much. It's just an incredible feeling this week to feel a sense of purpose. So truly, thank you. We want to call out some people in particular. Every single donation helps. These are some of the $50 donors. Adami Gordon, Gunther X, Josh Heath, Lowell Reynolds, Lowell, hi, Jesse Glaspie, Anna Chobin, and Kelsey Wexler. You guys are already great contributors to our community. I read your
you, guys.
comments. I see you talking. You guys have so much insight and so much to offer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We want to call out a couple other people in particular. Sam Feldstein, 500 bones. Woo! Sam, thank you so much, and get ready for a Skype call with us, whether you want it or not.
We're coming.
We're coming for you,
Roth
Sam.
might die live on camera with you. We don't know.
We're calling you during dinner.
It's a strong possibility. But who I really, really, really want to highlight today, because I am just so blown away, is Matthew Kirkland. Matthew, we talked about you yesterday. We were already so indebted and thankful for your contribution of $500. And then you came back, and also just for being a part of this community and being such a positive force. I read your comment, and it meant so much to hear those positive words. And then again, you came in today with another $470.
down.
Double down on it. So
you, dude.
we know that you initially said you didn't want prizes, but you're getting them.
We're
We
going
are
to
calling
force them on you.
Yeah.
We're calling you. You have gotten the $1,000 hour consultation with this team. You should mostly ask Spencer questions, but feel free to ask the rest
is what
of
I
us
get paid
as
to
well.
do.
Just write a Spencer biopic and then make him fact correct it so we can figure out what's
Yes.
actually happening.
Yes.
That's the consultation.
Yeah.
I'm really in awe. I read both of your comments and they were so kind, and your generosity is so inspirational, and we just can't thank you guys enough for being there with us. We also are pretty close to unlocking one of our stretch goals, which is Alicia Malone's epic return.
Nice.
She's gonna judge a classic movie fight. So far, I have booked Jesse and Leonard Maltin to
They've
fight.
seen some movies.
Yes.
Yep.
For that
I've
fight,
heard.
that's going to be a really good one. And then we have another stretch goal for $25,000. You are going to get an honest trailer of our dreams every Christopher Nolan movie
Whoa.
ever.
Oh no. Oh no.
Thanks for running this one by us,
We're gonna
guys.
have to change our names. This will be the last one. We'll have to go into hiding.
Yeah. Bullet in your brain after that, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard to say.
We'll blame this one on the robot.
Yeah, the robot.
Yeah, the
It's
robot wrote this
all
one
the
too.
robot.
Yeah.
Jonathan Nolan.
Oh, please say written by Jonathan Nolan. I am begging you.
No.
Yeah.
It will be honest. There's so much genius about Christopher Nolan. Also, I'm sure maybe there's something to have fun with. I don't know.
I feel like maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. He's
What are
perfect.
you most looking forward to?
He's perfect.
I like his suits.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Christopher Nolan trailer, man. I think that's gonna be so awesome. There's a lot of his stuff I like too, but there's some stuff I'm like, Joe, we've done the background extras. Nolan doesn't pick the best background extras. So
Yeah,
there are
suck it,
some-
Nolan.
Yeah.
There are some fun things to.
Yeah.
There's always something fun to pick apart.
There's always something fun.
Yeah, we'll see what you guys come up with. You guys come up with.
This half of the table, we had nothing to do with it.
Remember, I only want the bullet when I'm already dying. So we have fan questions, and we are very, very excited about them. For everybody, this is from Anthony. Oh, this is actually a huge question. How did you guys get started in the industry?
Ugh.
Well, I mean, just like writing things
Yeah.
is the dumb but obvious answer. Is like you just keep writing things until someone publishes it for free, and then once they do that, someone eventually pays you to do it. I guess that's that's the broad strokes of like you just keep writing whatever it is that you do. In my case, jokes and funny things, and it goes from like college paper to like internship here to like, okay, you got one cool credit freelance there to like, okay, people have heard of that, so they pay you to do it more.
What was your first one cool credit?
Yeah.
Was The Onion, was a summer intern headline writing thing, and then people have heard of that, so from there I was able to get jobs. But before that, it was just like literally for free and posting it on the internet.
But people might not know. It's the weirdest thing. I was actually thinking about some of this morning and how every single thing I did, which is pretty varied, all plays into in a way to what I do now. So what were some of your credits? Like you worked for Tyler Perry. People
Yeah.
probably don't know that. you
Yeah,
know?
I wrote a freelance. I wrote just a script for The Office, and through like a triple bank shot, it ended up in a pile on Tyler Perry's desk or producer's desk. He's like, "Oh, this person seems cheap," and wrote a Tyler Perry House of Pain episode, and it just kind of snowballs. But as long as you don't stop writing and putting things out, eventually people will pay you to do it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that you don't get paid for, or things that just land that you have to keep working through.
Joe, what about yourself? You did a lot of performing.
Yeah, I'm just a lot of stand-up for 6 other uninterested comedians in bars and coffee shops. And then eventually that turns into someone books you for a stand-up gig in front of 15 semi-interested normal audience members. And sort of the same thing. You just sort of keep building up. You shoot a couple of pilots and projects that don't go anywhere. and you just sort of keep going. And no matter how many times your dad really makes that real estate license sound very attractive. And yeah,
There's always real estate.
yeah, there's all.
Which is like the worst thing to think of as a backup these days, but
yeah.
sure.
And I guess. A lot of people sort of complain about, oh, well, it's all in who you know and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but like 60% of this job, too, is like meeting people and meeting those people who become the it's all in who you know. And so I met Hal Rudnick doing stuff at the UCB, which eventually turned into a well-timed Spencer mentioning that they were looking for a writer. And that's how we got here.
And you also, I mean, you did things that I think may seem unrelated, but I feel like do play into what you do now in terms of having worked at Warner Brothers and things like that, and having a background working in this industry. And
yeah, a lot of day job stuff in distribution, and a lot of places with a whole lot of charts about movies that I wish I still had to just hand to Dan and be like, run, be free.
Yeah, that's also true. Just in addition to writing when no one was paying me for it, like I was an assistant to a director, I was an assistant to a showrunner, and I worked in a mailroom at a talent agency. Like you just take jobs wherever you can, no matter how demeaning and low paying they are.
Can you say which director?
Yeah, his the director was Jesse Dillon, who made like not How High. He made, or it might have been How. Is that the one where they smoked their friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, How High, and the Will Ferrell soccer movie and stuff like that. But he was mostly making like commercials and music videos and stuff like that. But still, you learn how like a production works, and you get to be on a set and stuff like that, and it all adds up.
What was the show?
Oh, the show, it was just a showrunner. His name is Peter Knight, and we did like a pilot for CBS and like one other project that didn't. But I was on the Sony lot, and like I got to hang out there and see and meet other people. So whatever gets you working in entertainment will snowball.
Yep.
Yeah, and also I think that's a great lesson, right? Like not every pilot, most don't become a TV show.
Yeah.
What about you, Billy?
Yeah, it's usually the one thing people don't actually want to hear when they ask, like, how did you get? It's like, I climbed the ladder. I interned to PA to associate producer to producer, some odd life choices after that, some good, some bad, all great lessons. That
Where do we land, Billy?
Well, I was gonna say, and then
TBA.
and then I got here. So that's what I'm saying. Like even like in hindsight, all your failures actually are like, no, you actually should learn that at some point in your life, because then you end up here. But there's no path. It's frustrating when people are like, how do I do what you do? You're like, you gotta climb the ladder, and it takes a long time. Sorry, like that's just the reality of it. Start as an intern, make yourself invaluable.
You worked for Wizard World.
I worked for Comic-Cons, which was just an odd left turn. I worked for TV Guide, which became Pop, and I got to work with like Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, which was awesome. And famously, everyone asks, I did log Survivor footage for a while, which is the most menial task you could possibly like. At this time code, there's a leaf with a bug on it. It's that, just like hours and hours and hours. Yeah, you're gonna do stuff like that, but then down the road, you get to like go to Comic-Con and you're hanging backstage with Chris Hemsworth or David Tennant, and you're just shooting the shit. You're like, how did I get from there, logging tapes about bugs, to here? Just interesting life choices.
It's just an interesting series of events. Also, I mean, Billy, I don't know if you guys have seen our smash hits. I hope so. But you did a ton of that with TV Guide, right?
That's all I did.
Yeah.
In fact, I won't tell it here because it's a digression, but ask me again sometime. That's how I met like Harloff and Ellis and Mance. And Christian, he didn't have a shirt basically, and he had like a logo, and we had to cover it. And I only had a size too small, and I had to figure out a way after the fact to digitally correct it. And it was the longest 3 days of my career.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God.
I bet you he doesn't even know. Like, I need to go back to my like archives and find like a screen cap and be like,
Yeah.
can you tell?
Or the
where-
raw
Yeah.
footage.
Yeah. Oh, the raw footage for
Unaltered.
sure. Yes. It's just like a button, just like
quarter
open
shirt.
because it doesn't.
Poor Billy's like
Because it doesn't fit him.
rotoscoping a button. I've done so many different things just in this field. So I'm going to, I really was thinking about this morning. I almost want to write about it because I just started to see how everything kind of led to the next, even though it doesn't seem connected. But I'm going to do my, I'm in a job interview, and this is what I think. Yeah, it was a good
that was
crowd.
real. Yeah.
That was a real thing. It happened. I did acting when I was young. I did plays off Broadway, and I did a couple of dumb day player things and things like that in New York. And then I was like, this is the worst, and I'm never gonna get money this way. As I entered into the college years, and although I loved acting. But then I went to film school, and while I was in film school, I worked for a production company that made short-form documentaries and did a lot of social issues documentaries. One of the producers there left to do a documentary about the School of the Americas. I went and I co-produced that with him while I was there. While I was doing that, I won a grant as a film student called A Princess Grace, and I took that and I went to the Middle East into a very war-torn area and did a documentary there, which was very revealing in terms of when you're doing social issue stuff. It can be challenging and rewarding at the same time. And then I was just trying to get work after school, and so I did a million different things. I was an AD, a second AD. I did weird little internet videos for people called Mother Talk about pregnancy. And
Wait, how do you spell that? M-U-T-H-A?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, Spencer. I worked at an
Say hello to these
agency.
mothers.
Weird connection. I worked at a talent agency as an assistant for a very short period of time because I hated it. Brett Weiner, who was one of the people that started Honest Trailers, worked at the agency with me. We were both assistants there. That was just a weird coincidence. Went from there and I worked in distribution, documentary distribution. So I was doing acquisitions, going around to film festivals around the country and in Amsterdam and things like that, looking for films. I found one in Montana that ended up getting nominated for an Academy Award. But what I learned there was I was allowed 3 to 4 films that were for me. And then I had to find things that were like sports and nature and things that would sell. So that compromise I learned there about how to do this one's for me and this one's so that we can keep surviving. Went from there and I
That's how we
did
pick Honest Trailers.
producing. I was a post-production supervisor and producer for entertainment advertising. So things like commercial launches for TV shows and DVD features with Disney and all of their Disney shows and things like that. And there I learned what it's like to work for people that are on cocaine and and how to take other people's material and condense it into
decocaine it.
and how to take other people's material and make it short form something out of it, which is a lot of what we do here and what we do on the internet. And then from there, my friend I was bored, and my friend Dennis was starting a thing called Think Hero. I did that with him. And then started getting jobs. I was hired by NBC to do interviews for Twilight, and then I was hired by AMC Theaters and Screen Rant. I worked for In Contention, so I did prestige films. I covered prestige films, broad popcorn films, and niche. You're so bored with me right now.
No, I'm just wow, this is quite the resume.
And then from there, the freelance life is not so easy. So I worked for IGN, where I learned a ton about just sort of being online in the geek community. And then I worked for HitFix again, where they recruited me from IGN, where I learned about trying to transform print to video in a way that's successful. And started Girls on Film there, met Andy through Alicia, and then here I am.
Phew, you made it.
So the point is, you're going to do a lot of different things in your life, and you're going to take a lot of twists and turns, but everything is leading to the next thing. And this is leading to the next thing too. I don't know what it is. Probably a stroke.
Probably.
But like I said, as I've just told you in an endless stream of consciousness, I've done a lot of things. I've been a lot of places. I'm ready. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, that's it. Have a good weekend. Oh, he's not even ready with the outro. There it is.